Alright friends, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how we can create the CRUD application using Laravel 11 and Tailwind CSS for the front end, and also we'll be using Daisy UI as a plugin. So let me show you what we're going to build throughout this video. So we'll be creating the CRUD application, which includes of creating the post, reading the post, updating the post, and deleting the post. So here we have the index page which lists the blog post, and we can create the new post. Over here we can simply add title and description and create the post, and this post got created, right? And we can edit this post. Let me edit this, and this post got edited, and we can delete the post as well as view the post. Let me click on view first, and we have this different layout with title and description. We can go to all post, and finally we can delete this post. So throughout this video we'll be building this exact thing. So now let's get started. Now let me head over to the Laravel documentations to install Laravel. So we can simply use the composer command to create a new project, or we can use Laravel new command if we have Laravel installer installed globally. So I have already installed Laravel installer, so I can simply run Laravel new and the project name. So let me do that. Let's do Laravel new, and the name of the application is Laravel 11 CRUD. So let's wait for some time. Okay, the applications got created. Now we can cd into that application, which is Laravel 11 CRUD, and let me open this on VS Code. Okay, this is fine, and we can do PHP addition serve. Let me close this, and if we head over to localhost 8000, then this project is up and running, and we see this welcome page. Okay, so now let's start by installing Daisy UI, which is the Tailwind CSS plugin. So make sure you have Node.js installed and Tailwind CSS installed first. So you can check using Node v, and I have already installed that. And now we need to install Tailwind CSS. So let me go to Tailwind CSS documentations, and over here we can choose the framework guides. Let me click on Laravel, and we need to run this command to install Tailwind CSS, post CSS, and auto prefixer. So let me run that. Okay, this got created. Now let me run another command to initialize Tailwind config file, and the Tailwind config and post CSS config file got created. And inside of tailwind config.js file, we need to add this content section. So let me go to tailwind css.config file, and we can replace this. Okay, and in our app.css file, let's add this. So let me go to resources, css, and app.css. That's fine, and we need to run npm run dev. Let's run that, and this is fine. And let's copy this code from here, and in our welcome.blade.php file, let me remove everything and paste that in. And now if I come here and refresh the page, then we see this, which is fine. And now Tailwind CSS is installed. So if I do text red 600, then this is working as expected, right? Now let's install Daisy UI. So we can do npm install -d Daisy UI latest. So let me go over here and install it. And inside our plugin sections, we need to require this plugin, so which is inside of tailwind config.js file. So let me go to tailwind config.js file, and for the plugins we need to add that Daisy UI. And if I go to welcome page, we still see this, but after installing Daisy UI as a plugin, let me go to welcome.blade.php file, and let's add the button. So instead of using all the Tailwind classes, we can do btn primary, and this button is coming, right, which is great. Now we have Laravel, Tailwind, and Daisy UI installed. So now we are ready to start our work. So first of all, let's design index page and then create page. So let's do that part, and then later we can implement the functionality. Okay, so first of all, let's create the index page. So let me go to resources, views, and let me create a new folder called posts. Inside that, let me create a file called index.blade.php file. And when someone visit this root page, then we need to show that. Okay, so first of all, let me create the layouts file. So we'll be using that layout file for every pages. So let me create that first. Resources, views, layouts, and let me give it a name called app.blade.php file. And let me copy every content from here and paste that in. And instead of this, let's add the yield directory called content, and we can dynamically pass the content over here inside a body element. Okay, so let me go to post, and we can extend the layout, extends from layouts.app, and we can pass the content inside of this section called content. Let's end this, and inside this we can add that code. Now let me go to web.php file, and instead of returning the welcome view, let's return post.index. Okay, now if I refresh this, then we see the same. Now we can remove that welcome page. Let me remove that and refresh it, and this is working as expected, right? So instead of using that welcome page, now we are using post and then index.blade.php file, and we can make the changes over here, and this is working. Now inside of app.blade.php file, let's create header and then footer. So header, let's say Laravel 11 CRUD, and for the footer we can add the copyright section, copyright, and then let's add dynamic date, and we have this header and this footer. So let's add some margin top, and from the header let's add margin bottom, and this is fine. And in our body, let's add the class called maximum width is 5xl, and let's do margin x is auto, and let's add some padding, which is fine. Now let's remove this and add the table. So let me go to Daisy UI, and for data display we have table section over here, and let's use this simple table. Let me copy this, and in our post index page we can remove everything and paste that in, and if I refresh, then we see this table, which is perfect. Now let's change this to title and description. Let's change this to actions, and let's add edit and delete icon. And for icons, let's use hero icons. So over here, let me search for edit, and let me copy the SVG, and over here let me create the anchor tag, and inside this anchor tag let me paste that in. And similarly, let's search for the trash icon. Let me copy SVG, and let's add the anchor tag, paste that in. Similarly, let's add the eye icon to view the post. So let's use eye, copy SVG and anchor tag, paste that in. Now let me go over here, and we have these icons. Let's add some color, and let's align this on the same line. So let me wrap this inside of div, paste that in, and over here we can apply the class called flex. Let's add some gap too, and this is fine. Let's add some color. So here we can add the text primary class. Here let's add text success class, and here let's add text wording class, and this is fine. Now let's remove these two sections. So row 2 and row 3, let me remove that, and that's fine. Now let's add the button on the top so that we can click on it to create a new post. Okay, so let me go over here to the top. Let's add one div, and let's add the button with the class of button primary, add new post, and this is fine. Let's pull that to the right. Let's do flex, justify to the end, and this is fine. Let's add some margin bottom for, and this is looking good. Let's make this small, button small, and this is fine. So when we click on this, we need to go to post create page. So let's add the anchor tag as well over here on this button. So let's do ASRF button, and here let's add the route called post.create that we haven't created yet. So it is giving internal server error, the post create is not found. So let's define this route. Let me go to web.php file, and over here route get post create, and we need to create the controller called post controller. So let's create the controller first. PHP addition, make me a controller called post controller, and now we can use that post controller class, and we need to import it. And let's go to the create method, and for the route name, let's give it a name called post.create. Okay, and we need to create those method called create. So let's create that method called create post.create. In here for code suggestion, I'm using Codium, which is similar to that of GitHub Copilot, but it is completely free, so you can install this as an extension in VS Code, so which is helpful. And now let me try this. Let me click on add new post, and it is redirecting us to post create page, but we do not have the view, so it is giving the internal server error. So we need to create the view to fix this error. So let me go to resources, views, post, and here let's create the file called create.blade.php. Let me copy everything from index file and then paste that in first, and we can remove everything. Let me remove this. Okay, let me refresh it, and we have this create page, but let's modify this. So instead of add new post, let's make this as a back button. So back, instead of pulling to the right, let's just remove it, and let's make this as button default. Okay, now let's add the form to create the post. So form, and for the form inputs, let me go to Daisy UI, and let's search for the input, data input, and we have this text input. So let me scroll a bit, and we'll be using something similar to this one. So let me copy this first and then modify it. So paste that in. We do not need this button on the right. Let me go over here, and this is not working. So let me head over to this one. Let me close this and run it again, npm run dev, and this got fixed. Okay, so if you get the same error, then make sure to run that again. And we do not need this as bit top right level, so let's remove that, and let me change this to title. And we do not need this bottom left level. Let me remove it, and this is looking fine. And for the description, let's use text area. So let me go over to text area, and let me copy that. Okay, and we do not need this, and this as well. So let's change this to description, and this is description, and this is working. And finally, let's add the submit button. So after this, let's add the button called btn primary. Let's give it a name called submit, and let's keep some margin top, and this is fine. Now once we click on this back button, we need to go to post index page, so let's change that as well. So post.index, and we haven't created that route name, so let's create that. So let me go to web.php file, and here, so instead of creating this, let's create a new route for the index page, and instead of using this closure, let's use post controller class, and let's go to the index method. Let's give it a name called post.index, and now let's remove this. Let's create that index method. So we return the view called post.index. Okay, now if I click on this, then we are on the index page. We can click on any post to see this page. Now let's work on creating the actual blog post. So once we enter the information and click on submit, then we need to save those records to the database. So to do that, let me create the model and migrations. So let me do PHP audition, make me a model called post with migrations, and this got created. So let me go to create post table, and here let's add the string called title, and then let's add the description, and this is fine. Now we can run PHP audition migrate, and this created the table. And if I go to .env file, then, and for the database we are using SQLite as default. So let me open up table plus to connect to that database. So make sure to select this file, which is database.sqlite, which is inside of database, and then database.sqlite file. Make sure to select that, and you can connect to that. And this got connected, and we have these tables, and we also have the post table that we got created. Okay, so now we need to save this record. So let me go to post create page, and let me give it a name to this input called title, and this one is description. And once we submit this form, so method is post, and action to the route called post.store, and we haven't created this route, so let me create that route. So route post route to post create, and we'll be using that post controller class and calling the store method on it, name post.store. So let's create that public function store, and let's tie and dump the request. Now if I fill out this form, click on submit, it is throwing this error because we need to add CSRF token in our form. So make sure to add that. To do that, we can simply use CSRF directory. Now let me enter the details and click on submit, and we have this token, title, and description. Okay, so here we get the title and description, and now we can use those while saving record to our database. So over here we can create the post create, and for title we are getting the title from request title, and for description we will be getting that from request description. And make sure to import this. Let's add comma, and this post got imported. And after we create the blog post, we can return redirect to the route called post.index. Okay, now let's try this. Let me refresh it, enter the title and description and click on submit. And we are getting a title to fillable property to allow mass assignment. So we are getting mass assignment exception. So to fix that, go to post and let's add the protected fillable array, and inside this we can pass title and description. So these are the fillable fields for the post model. Okay, and now if I click on submit, let me go to this database, refresh it, and we have this record. Okay, we have the title, description. Let me try it again. Add new post, enter the details, click on submit, and if I go to the database, refresh it, we have a new record, which is fine. And we need to show that record over here on our index page. So let's work on that part now. Let me go to post controller, and on our index method, let's get all the posts. Let's get the latest post, and then let's paginate the result. Okay, now here we can pass the post in our view, and if I go to post.index.blade file, we can use that post on this file. So over here, let's do for each post is post, and for each, and if I refresh it, we see two posts, but we have same title and description. So let's dynamically change that. Over here we can simply do post title, and for this we can do post description. Okay, and this is fine. And to change this number, we can do loop iteration. So loop iteration, and we have this number starting from 1, 2, 3 and so on. Now we have the index page. We can go to the create page, we can add the blog title and description, and then click on submit, and we are displaying over here, which is great. But now if I go to add new blog post and click on just submit without filling this form, then we'll be getting this integrity constraint violation error. So it is better to add the validation on this page. Okay, so we can add the validations and say that the title is required and description is required. So let's add a validation. Let me go to post controller, and in our store method, let's validate the request first. So request validate, and we need to validate title as required and description as required. Now if we submit this form, then this is not showing that error, right, which is fine, but we can also show the error message over here for better user experience, right? So let's do that. Let me go to post create page, and over here we can add the validation error message. So let's add the error directory. So if we have the error for title, let's close this and error, and inside this we can display the error message. Let me go to create page, click on submit, and we are getting the title field is required. So let's add the class to make this better. So we can do margin top is 1, and we can add text error class. So now if I submit, we get this error message. Let's add that error message for the description as well. So let me copy that, and over here below this text area, let's change this to description. Click on submit, and we get this error message, which is great. Now if I enter something, let's say ABC for the title, and click on submit, then we are getting the error message for the description field, but that ABC is removed. So to store that old value, we can simply do, let me go over title, and for the value we can get the old value for the title. Let's do the same for description as well. So for description, let's do all description. And now let's try this. Let's do ABC and click on submit. We still have this title and we see the error message for the description. That is fine. Let's do the same for description and we get the error for title, and this is description is still here, which is great. Let me go back, and now let's work on the edit post feature. So let's work on that part. So first of all, once user click on this edit icon, we need to redirect them to the edit page. So let's work on that part. Let me go to post index page, and for this edit icon, let's add the route called post dot edit, and we need to pass the post ID, okay, that we are going to edit. So let's add that route. Let me go to web.php. if we do not add that route, then we'll be getting this error. So make sure to add that route and then get post, and we'll be receiving the post edit post controller class, and the method is edit, and the route name is post dot edit. Now let's create this method as well. So public function edit, and we'll be returning the view called post edit, and we'll be passing this post. So let's create this file called edit.blade.php inside of post folder. So over here, let's do edit.blade.php file, and this is similar to that of create page. So let me copy everything and paste that in over here, and let me try that. Let's click on this icon, and we see this edit page. So we need to fill out the information over here. So let's do that. So in our edit page, for the value, instead of using old title, we can simply use post title. So post title, and for the post, we are passing that from the controller over here. So this should work, and this is working. Let me go to edit page, and let's do the same for description. Okay, perfect. So now once we submit this form, we need to perform the update operation. So over here we need to change that. Let's change this route name to post.update, and the post that we want to update, we need to pass that ID, and let's create that route post dot post, and then edit post controller update method, and for the route name post.update. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to the update function, and it's similar to that of store. So let's use Codium for some suggestions. So public function update, we need to pass the request and the post that we want to update, and we are using validation to validate, and after validation we need to update the post. So post and then update, and we need to pass the title and the description that we want to update, and finally we can redirect to the route called post.index. Okay, which is great. So now let's go to the edit page, and it is returning this error. So let me go to edit.play.php file, and we have this extra thing, and that got fixed. Now if I click on submit, then that post got updated. And let me try by changing, let's say updated, click on save, and the title is updated, which is great. And we also have validation on our edit page. So if I remove everything and click on submit, then this is saying that the title field is required. This is fine. So we are done with create, C part, and the U part for updating. Now we need to create this deletion and the reading part. Okay, so let's do the delete part first. So once we click on this delete icon, we need to remove this post. So let's do that. So we need to handle the click event on this icon. So let me go to index.blade.php file, and over here let's wrap this inside of the form so that we can submit the delete request. And let's give it a method called post, and the action equals to the route post.destroy, and we need to pass the post that we want to delete. We haven't created this route, so we'll be creating that. And for the sref, we can give the route called post.destroy and the post id. And here we can listen for the click event using onClick. Let's prevent the default behavior, and then let's submit the form using these clauses, form, and then submit it. Okay, so now we'll be getting the error that post destroy not defined, so we need to create that route. So let me go to web.php, and over here let's create the delete route called post, and the post that we want to delete, post controller class, and the method is destroy, and the name is post.destroy. And over here let's go to the end and create the destroy method. So public function destroy the post that we want to destroy, and post call the delete method on it, and then we can redirect back. So return redirect to the route called post. And now let's try this. Let me click on delete, and it is saying that the post method is not supported for the route, so it is saying method not allowed called delete. So over here in our index.php file, we need to define the method called delete, and also add the csrf as we are submitting the form. Now let me go back, click on delete, and that post got deleted, which is fine. Here after the post is deleted successfully, let's add the toast notification to notify the user that the post got deleted successfully. So for that, let me search for the toast over here, and we can use this. So let me copy this, and let me go to app.blade.php, and above this body section let me paste that. And now if I come over here, then we see this message, right, which is fine, but let's display proper message, and we'll be hiding this after some time, so let's broken that. So we can use this session directive, and if we have the success on our session, then we'll display that. And session, and for the message we can use the session message. Okay, and from our post controller we can pass the message called with success as key, and the message is post deleted successfully. Now let's try this again. Click on delete, and we see this post deleted successfully, but it is appearing always here, so it is better to hide this after some seconds. So let's add that functionality. So let me go to app.blade.php file, and let's add the script section, and let's define the toast, and let's get the toast using document.query selector. Let's select the class called toast, and if we have the toast, then we can use set timeout function, and let's hide that toast notification after 3 seconds. And inside this we can do toast.class list.add. We can add the hidden class, okay, so that we can hide that after 3 seconds. Now let me add new post, and then delete this, and we see this, and after 3 seconds this is removed, which is great. Now the final thing is to view the blog post. So once we click on this, and we'll see the blog post title and the description. So let's create that route as well. Let's create that after the create post. So route get/post, and the post that we want to view. let's use post controller class, and then let's call the view method, and let's give it a name called post.view. And once user click on this icon, we need to redirect to the view page. So let me go to the index page over here, and for this anchor tag, let's add the route called post dot view, and we need to pass the post that we want to view. And if I hover over this, then you see that post over here, the post 1. Okay, click on it, and it is giving the error because we do not have that method. So let me go to that post controller, and let's create that view method, public function view, and we can return the view called post.view, and we can pass the post to our view. So let me go to index.blade.php, and let's create the view.blade.php file. So here either we can extend the app layout, or we can extend the different layout as well. So let me create different layout. Let's say post.blade.php, and inside this let me copy everything, paste that in, and let me go over here app.blade.php, sorry, this one, view.blade.php, and here we can extend layouts.post, and for the content section content and section, here we can display heading, post heading, sorry, post title, and for the description let's use p tag, and we can do post description. And if I refresh it, we see the post title and the description, but we are still using that old layout. So here we can modify our post layout. So let's do that. Let me remove everything. This is script section, we don't need this. Here let's remove, we can modify the footer and header as well, but for now let me remove header and footer. Let me remove this. Let's make this as complete new one, and we have this. Let's remove the padding as well, and we have the title and the description, right? Let's make that title as big, so class text to XL, and this changes is not working. So let me go over here, close this and run it again, and refresh it, and it is working. Let me go back, and now we have everything ready. We can create the post, we can read the post, we can update the post, and we can delete the post, right? So let me try this. Create the post, we can create it, we can view that created post, and we are using separate layout for that. We can edit that, edited, and finally we can delete that. Great. Alright, this much for this video. I hope you learned something from this video, and in the next video I will show you how we can build the modern CRUD application using a build stack, which is Vue, Inertia, Laravel, and Tailwind. So stay tuned for that video, and thank you for watching till the end of this video. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, as I will be uploading the videos like this. So till then, have a great time, and I will see you on the next one.